Good morning, Ant family, Empire. What is going on, everybody? DTA here back with another daily analysis. Today is July 11th, and we're only talking about AMP only. So, diving right in, looking at CoinGecko for AMP, we can see that we are up just 0.1%, floating around the 0.054 level, which we know for a fact is historically one of our strongest support zones. So, diving right into AMP, taking a look at the weekly since today is Sunday, and we should be coming to a close around 8 p.m. Eastern of this weekly candle. We can see that, for this week that we had, let's remove this trend line really quick. But, for this week, we did see that, selling volume and selling pressure did dramatically decrease in comparison to the weeks before, right? In the weeks before, looking at the week of June 21st, selling pressure was around 924 million, right? That is humongous. The week of June 28th, selling pressure decreased to 389 million, right? This week that just passed, selling volume is only at 226 million, right? So we saw a huge decrease all the way from 924 million to 226 million, right? And that's what we want. We want that selling volume and that selling pressure to decrease, so that way buying volume and buying pressure can increase, right? Just following the laws of supply and demand, right? There was too much supply at this point, right? And supply is in the open market right now, and we see a long wick right here. We saw a small wick right here at the bottom of that candle, and we see selling pressure decreasing right here, right? This is sort of letting us know that demand is increasing, right? There's an available supply and there's a slight demand increasing, right? So if we do see some movement that tells us next week that we're going to go up, that's letting us know that demand is increasing. But as of right now, we see that the selling volume is decreasing, and there's a slight demand for AMP going on, right? So that's what we have going on for the weekly. Just recapping what happened, this week. Taking a look at the daily chart, one of the things that I just wanted to do after we confirmed that the bearish pennant was indeed a fake out, I wanted to show you guys visually, right, where our support zone is, right? And we've been holding strong at the 0.054 and the 0.055 level, right? And that's what we want ultimately, right? We know for a fact that we got rejected here at the 0.062 level. This is our resistance. Indeed, we know that we have this trend line still in place, but I think it's important just to visually see where our support is, and also knowing that where our support line is, there has been a lot of accumulation taking place right here, right? Key thing to remember. So if you bought in high, it's also a good possibility to try and dollar cost average, right, to bring your average cost down a little bit lower, right? If you missed out buying at the 0.054 mark, well, today and possibly the next couple of days this week is your chance to buy, right? We all know that in the short term, AMP will probably move slow, right? It's very possible that we'll just continue to move sideways, just like this, right? But that's the short term. In the long term, we know that the utility of AMP is universal. It solves a universal problem, and we know that Flexa has the technology and the capability to allow all of their global merchant partners, all 41,000 plus, to accept cryptocurrency in the flip of a switch, the same way that they allowed Doge to be part of the Flexa network, right? To allow all of their business partners to accept Doge as an alternative form of payment, right? We know that Flexa has that technology, that utility, and they can turn it on in a seamless way, right? So in the long term, we just have to think about that, right? They're very patient, they're very diligent, The team is heads down, focused on increasing business partners and developing the technology even further. Right, we're seeing new and new use cases for AMP every day. Right, so in the long term, we just have to think about that, and again, just continue to manage our expectations. Right, so that's what we have going on the daily. If we can break above the 0.062 mark, our resistance, that would be great. If we can close above that, I think that we'll see some market movement to the upside to retest the 0.074 mark if we do close above that. If not, then it's very possible that we'll just continue to move sideways, consolidate, and accumulation will continue to take place. Just looking at the Ether scan really quick, we can see that AMP is now at 25,953 holders. And that's not including, people who are staking on the Flexa Capacity Network. So, this is amazing. I remember when, we were only at 10,000 holders. Now we're touching the 26,000 holder mark, right? And we're going up every day. So, if this doesn't tell you that accumulation is going on, I don't know what to tell you. All right. So that's what we have going on for the 4 hour, on the daily, I'm sorry. Now let's hop into the 4 hour, right? On the 4 hour, we can still see that, our accumulation market structure is being respected. Our sign of strength did play out here. We got rejected, but again, we're floating around our support levels, right? Historically, this support level has held, and I don't expect us to go any lower, right? So nothing really significant happening on the 4 hour. Also with the 1 hour, right? We can see the same thing happening, right? I think the most important time frame again is the 4 hour and the daily at this point. Why the 4 hour? Because one, we still have our bullish crab harmonic still in the picture, right? Remember, the bigger the moves to the upside, then the longer the consolidation period, right? And the longer the consolidation period, then the bigger the next move to the upside will be, right? So, just adjusting to different market conditions, we can see that, this is taking a little bit longer to play out than we expected, but, that's okay. And, the daily is important because, again, we want to monitor our support zone, right? We don't want to break this, right? And again, we want to know if we can push above the 0.02 mark, which we know historically is our strong resistance point, right? So that's what we have going on for AMP. Again, we just have to manage our expectations and be a little bit patient. Now, taking a look at BTC's price, right? Looking at Bitcoin's chart. Again, right? We call it this tweezer bottom pattern, right? For the ascending triangle that we spotted on the daily. And, this is actually sort of playing out to how we expected it, right? We got rejected here at the 41K level. At the 34K level, right? We have some very strong resistance here around 34,200 or 34,100, right? This we know for a fact is a key resistance level. But, just looking at the candle structure again, understanding, the story of the candles, we see that, sellers tried to sell here, but they couldn't push below the previous candlestick, right? So there's a lot of buying pressure happening right here. And, today, July 11th, we can see that we do have, bulls in the market, right? Buyers are pushing the price up because buyers are, they want to accumulate, right? So this is sort of showing us that there is a demand for Bitcoin going on, right? And if we can sustain this, again, I think that we'll see some upward price movement to the 37K or the 36K mark, right? Just going back in history, this candlestick right here had a high of $36,623, right? So I think that we'll retest this in a more realistic way, right? And if we can get above this, then, our next stop will be the 37K mark, right? And again, right, we come to the end of this ascending triangle July 15th, right? I do expect something to happen with Bitcoin's market around that date, possibly before or after, right? It could be news, it could be, price action with the market going up or down, but, I do expect something to happen there. So that's what we have going on for Bitcoin. And again, Bitcoin is sort of, our benchmark for, the entire crypto market. At least until, Flexa hits the switch and the utility and transactions on the Flexa network continues to kick up, right? When that happens, I think that we will see, a decoupling of AMP from the entire crypto market because it has real world utility, right? In any industry for any business. Okay, so that's what we have going on for Bitcoin. You know, I think that we just have to be, a little bit patient, right? Nobody knows for sure what's going to happen in the markets. Nobody is, ever 100% accurate, but, those are some key dates that I think we should all be, looking at. And this should be a pretty eventful week, right? July 15th, key date for Bitcoin. Sometime around, July 16th through the 18th for AMP, right? In yesterday's daily analysis video, we used two indicators, the bull market support band as well as the polynomial regression indicator. And we saw that, if AMP continues to go sideways, which it's doing right now, sometime around July 16th or July 18th, it will intersect with those indicators, right? And when candlesticks intersect with indicators, right, that basically lets us know that something is going to happen. We're going to see some form of price action. It is either going to go, up or down, right? But again, the market will decide what it wants to do for itself. And, we can't base everything purely off of technicals, right? You have to look at things from all perspectives, the fundamentals as well as the market sentiment. And I think the market sentiment for AMP right now, right, just looking at the accumulation going on, is that it's super bullish. And we all know that the fundamentals of AMP are, in my opinion, better than any other cryptocurrency project out there because it has universal real world utility. It doesn't just solve one problem, it solves a whole bunch of problems, going back to legacy payment rails to, building new business models for, any business or company to, still discovering new use cases on a daily basis, right? So that's what we have going on for today's daily analysis. If you guys like this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with your friends. And until tomorrow, DTA is out.